Hollywood actress Kathryn Hahn is a Vision in WandaVision, so much so that Twitter has basically transformed into a Kathryn Hahn fan club. American Idol star Syesha Mercado and her partner, Tyrone Deener, were reunited with their newborn daughter Ahmaud on Friday. The couple posted a video on Instagram showing their sleeping infant daughter, presumably in the car, riding home. Mercado, 34, and Deener, 36, could be seen laughing and smiling in the video as they seemed happy to have their baby back safe and sound. Ahmaud is home. #Bring raw home power to the people. Mercado captioned the clip. Deener thanked fans for helping them get the resources they needed to get their daughter back from Florida's CPS. "We still got work to do to get raw back. Thank you. Because of y'all we had the proper support to get the best attorneys in the country," he said. The couple's other child, Amenra, was taken 5 months earlier by authorities. "Need proof? Kathryn Hahn needs to be in every movie and show from now until forever," one user tweeted. "Literally the perfect casting." He was placed into foster care in March after Mercado's breast milk supply started to run dry, and he would not accept other fluids. He has still not been returned home to Deener and Mercado yet. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office took Ahmaud on August 11 in a stressful moment that Deener filmed in a now viral video. "I'm in love," another shared. And to think there was a time when Hahn was just a 4th-grade prodigy acting on a children's show in her hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, Hahn has undergone quite the transformation over the decades, going from child actor to TV supporting player, to big-screen best friend, to Emmy nominee who commands top billing, thanks to a lot of hard work on her part. From her first on-screen role to her Marvel OUS turns on television, here's Kathryn Hahn's evolution as an actor, and as a wife, a mother, and even a published author. There's a lot to know about her. Kathryn Hahn grew up in Ohio. Kathryn Hahn was born in Westchester, Ill. On July 23, 1973, but grew up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio as the daughter of Karen and Bill, who owned a computer supply business. "What he's known for in my family is being the most frugal human being in America," Hahn said of her father with a laugh on Conan in 2014. "The cheapest person you can possibly imagine." Hahn's parents encouraged her to take acting lessons at a young age. The two were driving in Florida when cops surrounded their car and took Ahmaud to a hospital for a physical amid allegations of malnutrition. Mercado told officers while they seized Ahmaud, "How could you guys do this? Do you not feel anything? My baby is days old and you're taking my baby away from me." In the 3rd grade, Hahn joined an acting program, Curtain Pullers, at the Cleveland Playhouse, as she told The Plain Dealer in 2014. She added that the theater was her happy place, and that she loved communing with older actors. That's also when Hahn found her calling as an actor. "You're taking my baby away from me. You have no heart. This is so wrong." The pair had started a GoFundMe page to help cover their legal bills, and it has since raised more than $400,000. "It almost felt like it was decided for me, not by anyone in my life, but just by the universe," she explained on Fresh Air in 2019. It was just that was what I was going to do with my life." Kathryn Hahn got her start on the TV show Hickory Hideout when Kathryn Hahn was a 4th grader. She got a series regular job as Jenny on the Saturday morning children's show Hickory Hideout, according to The Plain Dealer. The fund was entitled, "Legal Kidnapping of Black Babies Through CPS," and her original goal was to earn $200,000. On Tuesday, the singer weepingly held a virtual news conference where she described how she's missing her 2 children. Deener joined her on the video and claimed that they are good citizens and can't understand why they were being hunted by the cops. "I went somewhere to get assistance. My baby was supposed to come home with me," Mercado said. "We should have never been criminalized for getting assistance for something. Our life revolves around health, balance and doing what we can to guide our children," Deener added. "I certainly felt very professional and very proud. Nothing that we do is detrimental to our babies." Renowned civil rights attorney Ben Crump has taken up Mercado's case. The lawyer made headlines when he defended the families of slain victims Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd and Jacob Blake. Crump recently called out the Florida sheriffs for publicly dehumanizing a black family, and he hopes to help Mercado and Deener get both of their children back. Mercado's reps didn't respond to the post's requests for comment. Hillary Clinton already lived through her husband Bill Clinton's infamous infidelity scandal once in 1998. So it's highly doubtful the former Secretary of State will want to see it again when FX's new series, Impeachment, American Crime Story, hits the small screen, according to its showrunner. The series' executive producer Brad Simpson revealed at the Virtual Television Critics Association panel that he doesn't think Hillary, 73, will watch the 10-part drama series when it airs on September 7. No one, as far as we know, from the Clinton camp has seen this series, Simpson said. Of course, I'm curious what they would think. I don't imagine she will watch, no matter how emphatic we are to her. Impeachment, which released a new trailer Friday, will chronicle Clinton's presidency, his relationship with his wife and the sex scandal that soured the final days of his tenure. The series stars Clive Owen as Bill, Edie Falco as Hillary and Beanie Feldstein as White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The highly anticipated series will also not depict any sex scenes between Lewinsky and Clinton. I took it very, very, very seriously, Hahn told Fresh Air. Recalling an episode in which Jenny's parents split up, she shared, "I really did a lot of, emotional digging." The show aired from 1981 to 1991 around the country, but it filmed in a newsroom at Cleveland's WKYC TV station on a set made to look like a treehouse. Hahn's character, Jenny, would interact with squirrel puppets named Nutso and Shirley Squirrely and an owl character named Know-It Owl. The puppeteers were chain smokers, and they hated each other, Hahn told Jimmy Fallon in 2017. In 2019, WKYC began re-releasing Hickory Hideout episodes on YouTube to commemorate the show's impact on the community and to introduce new generations to the Treehouse Gang. Kathryn Hahn attended an all-girls Catholic school as a teen. Kathryn Hahn attended Beaumont School, an all-girls Catholic high school in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. During a 2018 appearance on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, the actress showed off her high school yearbook photos and revealed that the nuns at the school didn't know what to do with her because she was a straight-A student who was always getting in trouble. Hahn also reflected on her high school experience in an interview with The Plain Dealer, saying that she loved going to an all-girls school and hoped to find a similar school for her daughter since there's a freedom without boys around and without the distractions of wearing anything but a school-sanctioned uniform. She said on Fresh Air, however, that as much as she loved the smart, amazing nuns at the school, her Catholic faith had waned by the time she got to college. The only intimate interaction that viewers will get to see is a simple kiss between the characters. According to writer Sarah Burgess, the reason behind the creative decision is due to the fact that the public already knows what went down between the two. It was always my instinct to write it the way you saw it, Burgess told The Wrap. It wasn't, a part of my life anymore, she said. A lot of my family is gay, and they couldn't get married. She further explained, things started to become very clear to me that there are things that I did not agree with. Kathryn Hahn went to Northwestern and Yale knowing she wanted a liberal arts education. Kathryn Hahn went to Northwestern University for her undergraduate degree, according to Northwestern magazine. During her freshman year, she met her husband, Ethan Sandler, who co-starred with her in several plays at the school. It was such a rich experience, Hahn told the magazine. Because the graphic sexual detail was the headline in 1998, it felt like, first of all, something that much of the audience already knew. Executive producer Nina Jacobson added that the show's choice to keep the physical intimacy of Clinton and Lewinsky's relationship offscreen was always in the cards. I think that was always the intention. I think about that space, the theater building, as holding so much vibrating, creative energy and people just wanting to make. After they graduated in 1995, Hahn and Sandler moved to New York City, and she later entered the MFA program at Yale. As she told CBS Local in 2019, she knew that she was giving up a few years in which she could be involved in projects, that the MFA program wasn't a guaranteed career boost, and that she was going to rack up a bunch of student loan debt, but she just wanted to focus on nothing but her acting. And you'll see, as you see the rest of the season, that we are very mindful of what we show when, and why, and what we don't show, and why, Jacobson said. She also said she thought hers was the greatest, scrappiest class in the history of Yale, filled with her favorite performers on the planet. Kathryn Hahn worked odd jobs as a struggling actor during her years as a struggling actress in New York. Kathryn Hahn worked as a receptionist at the high-end hair salon Garin, New York, waitressed at the Broadway Hangout Joe Allen restaurant, and even got a Dunkin' Donuts gig handing out bagel sandwiches, according to The New York Times. Coincidentally or not, George Hahn, Kathryn's cousin, also worked at Joe Allen restaurant in Garin, New York. We both charged New York's wealthiest Prozac-stoned women thousands of dollars for highlights, bang trims, and manicures that didn't make them look any younger, George wrote on his blog, reflecting on their time at the salon. Talking to CBS Local, Hahn said the salon job was an awesome gig, but she really wanted to act. And it definitely was a very calculated instinct, and I think a really good one from Sarah, and something that I think we knew early on, collectively, that we wanted to approach it the way it ultimately is approached. So she'd scour the casting calls in Backstage magazine. But also let the series speak to that as you get to the last episodes. As for Feldstein, 28, she felt like a bodyguard for the real-life Lewinsky, 48. We used to laugh about the no-pay nudity ads, she added. During the Television Critics Association press tour panel, the Booksmart star said, "Honestly, we had more of a friendship than we did a working relationship. She was really giving with me in that she would answer anything I had questions about, but it was easier and more useful for me to just kind of be around her spirit." SeaWorld San Diego just lost one of its own. The youngest orca who lived at the beloved marine animal theme park died suddenly. Amaya, a 6-year-old orca, was showing signs of illness on Wednesday. SeaWorld revealed in a statement that once the sea mammal began to feel unwell, animal care specialists and veterinarians began treating her. "Oh, please." Kathryn Hahn landed a starring role on Crossing Jordan. Kathryn Hahn got a big break in 2001 when she was cast as grief counselor Lily Lebowski in the NBC crime drama Crossing Jordan, starring opposite Jill Hennessy and future Oscar winner Mahershala Ali. She died hours after being cared for. Despite her care team's efforts, Amaya's condition continued to decline rapidly. Her death was sudden and unexpected, SeaWorld said. A post-mortem exam is being done as no cause of death was seen immediately. She even stayed in the main cast for all 6 seasons of the show. Even better, Hahn's husband, Ethan Sandler, played her love interest on Crossing Jordan, and she told PopEntertainment.com in 2007 that it was a joy for the couple to go to work together. "I mean, he'd tell you that I am just as bossy on screen as I am off," she quipped at the time. The name Amaya means, night rain, according to the park's website. The young whale helped SeaWorld gather and share critical information about calf development for researchers studying wild populations. SeaWorld San Diego has 9 orcas in its custody, and Amaya lived at the quasi-ocean world with her mother and father, Kalia and Ulysses. SeaWorld announced in 2016 that they were discontinuing their orca breeding program after critics blasted them for their treatment of the animals. The documentary Blackfish further highlighted the problem. "There's a lot of eye-rolling going on here by Ethan. It's just like vacation. I can't believe I can drive in together with him in the morning." The film featured the issue of a SeaWorld trainer killed by an orca named Tilikum in 2010. PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, filed complaints with the U.S. Department of Agriculture this week requesting an investigation after receiving 2 whistleblower reports about an incident that may have caused Amaya's death. PETA's executive vice president, Tracy Ryman, told The Post, "If the whistleblower reports that PETA received are true, orca Amaya died just days after SeaWorld workers put all 10 orcas into a single tank, despite a documented history of aggression among some of them, leading Amaya to chase, rake, and injure the much older orca Corky, who may have retaliated overnight." PETA is demanding a full outside investigation into whether SeaWorld's incompetence left Corky injured and Amaya dead at just 6 years old, she added. Blind actor Adam Morse did his own stunts on the action-heavy Apple TV Plus series, See, without using a cane or a guide dog. "I spent a few days training with fight choreographers," Morse, 31, told The Post from his London home. "They were sensitive to me and said, 'We've been told about your condition. We can do things very slowly and also we can let your double do it.' And I said, 'No, I want to do it.' So we went through the steps, and at the end of the day, one of the choreographers came up to me and said, 'I don't want to be rude, but I don't understand, can you see or not? Because I'm sword fighting as well as anybody else in the room with 20/20 sight. It's so fun.'" Creator Tim Kring later told Inverse that one of Hahn's action scenes on Crossing Jordan, a scene in which she defends herself against a mugger, inspired his next NBC show, the hit drama Heroes. So, he was in a bit of disbelief. "That's what I thrive on, exceeding expectations." Morse joins Season 2 of See, premiering August 27 and set in a dystopian yet primitive future where most of humanity has lost their eyesight due to a virus. It follows warrior Baba Voss, Jason Momoa, who's trying to protect his twin children from witch hunters and the ruthless Queen Kane, Sylvia Hooks, since the twins have the ability to see, which is regarded as heresy in this world. I thought, that's a cool idea. What if super-ordinary people could do something really extraordinary? He said. Kathryn Hahn started a family with husband Ethan Sandler. Kathryn Hahn and Ethan Sandler eloped on their 10-year anniversary, according to Northwestern magazine, and they later welcomed 2 children, Leonard and May, who sometimes accompany her to red carpet events. In a 2016 Esquire interview, Hahn said becoming a parent taught her the capacity of one's heart. "You can't believe it," she said. Morse plays Fry, a witch hunter working with the Queen. Morse, who's also a director, writer, and producer, lost his vision in 2009 due to a rare mitochondrial disease. He was already working in Hollywood at the time, and it wasn't clear if he would be able to continue. "I definitely did have a very dark and pessimistic period where, for a moment, I gave up on everything I had been dreaming about doing, which was acting on-screen and making my own films," he said. "So, it did take some time for me to readjust. It really was the start of my spiritual journey, losing my eyesight and accepting that it wasn't a curse and it was my choice on how it would determine my future. I've been actively reprogramming myself every day mentally to be positive and strong and think about how my condition can elevate me as an artist, so that I can find the blessing in this situation and appreciate that I was being put on a new path." Morse, who also rides horses in addition to sword fighting, learns his lines by using a screen reader software. "I couldn't believe after having my first that I could ever love anything as much as him. And then when I had my daughter, your heart just expands. There's so much room in it." He attributes his proficiency at picking up the physical skills to his level of confidence. "That's so key in any task," he said. "I really just had confidence in myself like I always have, barring that dark period when I was first diagnosed. It's been a nuts, chaotic mess and I love it." Her family schedule was still chaotic by the time she spoke to Today in 2018. She explained that she felt like a Sherpa driving all over the place, as her kids accumulated more and more after-school activities, but she was getting used to the constant upheaval. "I've learned to delegate, and delegate, so do that if you can," she recommended at the time. "And of course, trusting my own instincts. I have a pretty similar process as any other sighted actor in terms of learning my blocking and memorizing the movement and marks I have to hit throughout the scene. Where my process might be slightly different as a blind performer is that I sometimes have to feel out my marks to memorize them, rather than someone pointing them out, saying, 'Over there.' But, I only need to be told once. Ever since he lost his sight, his memory has improved, which also helps him act. The memory is a muscle, and the more you flex it and use it, train it, the better your recall is going to be," he said. "Every day is a memory exercise. I can't just see, where did I put my drink down? Or if I'm going somewhere, I can't just look at Google Maps for directions. I would try to do everything. My mind maps things, and also, I make vocal notes and mental notes. And now I ask for help." Kathryn Hahn endured a «best friend» chapter of her career in a 2017 roundtable for The Hollywood Reporter. Kathryn Hahn observed that there was a «best friend» chapter of her career, during which she was cast the «quirky best friend» to various blonde stars. She played second fiddle to Kate Hudson in the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, to Christina Applegate in Anchorman, and to Cameron Diaz in The Holiday, for example. Faced with such typecasting, Hahn commiserated with Judy Greer, similarly an on-screen «best friend», in films like 13 Going on 30 and 27 Dresses. "It really helps my recall. If I'm told something once, I'll remember it."
During the roundtable, Hahn revealed that she and Greer were often neck and neck for BFF parts in movies. "And that's helped me in many aspects of my life, both personally and professionally." His role in is his first time playing a blind character on screen, and it might be his last, Morse said. "To be honest, I am really not seeking out blind characters. In fact, on the contrary, my ambition as an actor is to take roles that people wouldn't expect me to play and surprise everyone in how I can suspend an audience's belief, whether it's me behind the wheel of a car driving some gnarly car chase scenes, or running around a battlefield. The prospect of playing people so far removed from myself is the reason why I wanted to become an actor. My husband was like, you guys should do like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern type movie, where it's like the best friends, and every so often, you see Kate Hudson running around behind," Hahn added with a laugh. The actress talked about that chapter of her filmography in a 2015 Elle interview, as well. Those best friend parts were not satisfying, she said at the time. And so that's my goal, to become the first blind action hero. Phil McGraw pivots from daytime in his Dr. Phil studio to nighttime and on location consults in House Calls with Dr. Phil. In the series, airing Wednesdays 9 p.m. on CBS, McGraw surprises families who thought they were talking about their issues for a reality show by showing up at their doorstep and spending several days with them to help resolve their internal strife. In the premiere, McGraw traveled to Utah to help a family whose teenage daughter had not spoken to her father in years, even though they live in the same house. I went to their homes and was really glad that I did. That's where the drama happens, where there are so many triggers for whatever the conflict is and what's shaping a family, McGraw, 70, told the Post. No, they just weren't. Kathryn Hahn caught the eye of frequent collaborator Joey Soloway with this role before writer and producer Joey Soloway added Kathryn Hahn to the casts of TV shows like Transparent and I Love Dick. They spied Hahn's talent in Hung. In that HBO comedy drama, Hahn had a 3-episode arc as Claire, a pregnant client of the male sex worker protagonist. Whether it occurs in the kitchen, in the backyard, in the bedroom or marriages or wherever, this puts me on their home court and in an environment where these things spark off. It's a level of involvement and intimacy I certainly don't get in the hour-long platform of Dr. I thought, who is this person who does not seem like anybody I've ever seen on TV before? Soloway told The Wall Street Journal in 2017. Phil, he said, she just felt surreal. Soloway spotted Hahn days later at a farmer's market in Los Angeles but was too scared to approach the actress. I've always said nobody confesses in a crowd, and in front of a studio audience there is a conspicuousness that does have an inhibiting factor. McGraw said the original concept for the show was to bring the families to LA, but when Soloway was casting the 2013 comedy drama film Afternoon Delight, everyone told them to cast Hahn in the lead part. And for her part, Hahn was delighted by the prospect, especially because it broke her streak of playing supporting friend roles. I had never been asked in my on-camera career to be a lead in anything, Hahn told the Journal. Where he tapes, Dr. Phil, and to put them in a house like the Big Brother house, something like that type of environment. But when the pandemic hit, and COVID restrictions came into play, those plans quickly changed. That answered the question for us and made the decision real easy, he said. It felt like I literally wasn't complete as a creative bird until she gave me that chance. Kathryn Hahn earned an Emmy nomination for her work on Transparent in 2014. Kathryn Hahn started playing Rabbi Raquel Fine on Transparent, another one of Joey Soloway's creations, and she earned a Primetime Emmy Award nomination and a Screen Actors Guild Awards nomination for her performance in the Amazon comedy drama. Chatting on the podcast Unorthodox in 2015, Hahn admitted that the role of a rabbi immediately overwhelmed her. So I went to their homes, because I have an hour on Doctor despite playing Jewish roles in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Afternoon Delight, and then Transparent. Hahn was raised Catholic. But she found inspiration after meeting with the really rad Los Angeles rabbi Susan Goldberg and taking note of her beautiful eye contact. It's so disarming, Hahn added. Phil, the philosophy has always been to focus on a single issue, to the exclusion of other things, but here I'm with these families on multiple days. In the first episode, one went in and the focus was this young girl who'd been stuck in her bedroom for 5 years. It was seemingly unbelievable, until you realize her mother is the enabler.
When I got there I found out about her dad's rage across the board. And then the son speaks up. And then I was able to pivot to him and deal with that issue. It's so layered and I have enough time where I can pivot this way and that, and it gives me the opportunity to deal with the whole family dynamic, which is really refreshing. In the coming weeks, McGraw will travel to San Jose, Atlanta, Denver and Oakland as he walks in and surprises each family. We have a Hispanic family, a black family, some marriage issues, some parenting issues, some blended family issues. We have a good smattering across the board. McGraw, who kicks off the 20th season of Dr. Phil on Sept. She Just Sees You. In a Marie Claire interview around the same time, the actress elaborated on her meetings with Goldberg. I really have so enjoyed my relationship with her that it's awoken something in me, that I have the book of Torah in my own life, she said. I don't know if it's Judaism, but it is something I've been looking for, just in terms of cracking something open and asking questions again. Inspired by her daughter, Kathryn Hahn wrote a children's book in 2018. Kathryn Hahn released My Wish for You. Lessons from My 6-Year-Old Daughter, a scholastic children's book with illustrations by Bridget Berriger. The book, which the publisher calls a touching meditation on the inherent power every girl has deep inside herself, Earned praise from Kirkus reviews and rave reviews from many of Hahn's famous colleagues, including Joey Soloway, Mila Kunis, Lena Dunham, and Jenny Connor. The book stemmed from an illustrated essay she wrote for Dunham and Connor's online newsletter Lenny Letter, an essay that, in turn, was inspired by her daughter May's Big Gorgeous Id, which was on full display once when May, then 6, was talking about her day. 20, said he's open to doing more episodes of House Calls with Dr. Phil. Because of the pandemic we did 6 episodes. And decided to take a breath and see what we're going to do after that, he said. I was struck by how authentic and full she was. How sure of her own voice and loud and self-respecting. Hahn told Entertainment Weekly in 2017, recalling May's monologue that day. And I thought of how those qualities can start to disappear as a young girl grows up. Kathryn Hahn was a breakout star of Bad Moms. Anyone who writes a children's book about the wisdom she learned from her 6-year-old has to land on the Good Moms list. But Kathryn Hahn nevertheless enjoyed her scene-stealing role in the 2016 comedy Bad Moms. In the film, also starring Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell, Hahn plays the unapologetic and frank Carla, who escapes the rigors of motherhood by throwing back drinks at a bar, or chugging chocolate milk at a grocery store, with her pals. And the character was inspirational in a sense. My issue was having to do the traveling, during the pandemic, but having my crew there ahead of time we feel we can visit these homes and I think we're going to be able to maintain this format and move forward. So I've agreed to do additional episodes if that's what everybody decides they want to do. There is always something a little bit aspirational I think that I can never really be in my real, normal life in a lot of these parts, Hahn told CBS Local as she promoted the film. There's something a little aspirational for all these people that I get to play that I just don't have the bravery in my real life to be. For the hit film's sequel, 2017's A Bad Mom's Christmas, Hahn wrote Susan Sarandon a letter to convince her to play her character's mother, telling Sarandon that she felt it, in her ovaries, that the Oscar winner would be the right choice for the film, as Hahn revealed to Rachel Ray in 2017. Kathryn Hahn became a true TV star. Her days as simply a supporting player are long behind Kathryn Hahn. After adding recurring parts on Parks and Recreation and Girls to her resume, Hahn headlined or co-headlined the television series Happy-ish, I Love Dick, and Mrs. Fletcher between 2015 and 2019. In Showtime's Happy-ish, Hahn starred opposite Steve Coogan and played Lee Payne, an artist, mother, and wife struggling to find work-life balance and fend off her own intrusive mother. In Amazon's I Love Dick, she played filmmaker Chris Klaus, who moves with her husband to Marfa, Texas and becomes infatuated with an artist and rancher named Dick, played by Kevin Bacon. And in HBO's Mrs. Fletcher, she played the title character, a single mother who explores her sexuality after a divorce. In 2019, Hahn reflected on her roles in a New York Times interview. I certainly didn't set out to be the poster person for women's sexuality over 40, she said. Sexuality is a piece of it. An important and splashy piece, but not the whole thing. It's the desire and hunger I'm attracted to. A woman who wants. Kathryn Hahn voiced baddie Doc Ock in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not only has Kathryn Hahn won fans with her live-action performances, but she also has a number of voice acting credits to her name, including parts on the TV shows Robot Chicken, Bob's Burgers, Chosen, and American Dad and the movie Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation. Plus, she and Bad Moms co-star Kristen Bell reunited in the Apple TV Plus animated comedy Central Park in 2020. In 2018, Hahn voiced Olivia, Doc Ock, Octavius, a new version of Spider-Man's legendary nemesis Dr. Octopus, in the Oscar-winning animated movie Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, making a foray into the world of Marvel superhero adaptations. Hahn later told comicbookmovie.com what it was like working with directors Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman. That was just a blast, she said, to just play in a booth with those guys for a while and figure her out, and it was so much fun. Kathryn Hahn can't think of a cooler part than Agnes in WandaVision as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continued onto the small screen with the 2021 miniseries WandaVision. Kathryn Hahn was along for the ride. She plays Agnes, a nosy neighbor, to Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff and Paul Bettany's Vision in those two superheroes sitcom-inspired suburban reality. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Hahn met with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and co-president Louis D'Esposito to talk about a possible collaboration shortly before she was contacted to do WandaVision. And that was a rare event, as Feige explained to the magazine, since he often doesn't have time for meet and greets with prospective colleagues. Hahn was excited to sign on the dotted line to play Agnes, a character who turns out to have a significant twist in the show. To know that it was going to be something that the MCU has never done before, and that I was going to enter this world through a 1950s sitcom. All of those reasons together made it irresistible, she told the mag. I couldn't have dreamt a cooler part, honestly. I was thrilled.